It's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today, Ms. Hayley Boswell. Hayley is the founder of an organisation called Defence Kidz, a movement dedicated to advocating for and supporting children from defence and veteran families. Her initiative was born from her personal experience with a recognition of a gap in resources for these children. Hayley is a military spouse, solicitor and a mother of 2 defence children. She has been instrumental in creating educational resources, books and community programs to help defence and veteran children feel seen, understood and supported. Hayley's work has been recognised with awards such as the King's Trust Award for Defence Business and the City of Charles Sturt Award for Social Impact. She is also a board member on the South Australian Veterans Advisory Council and has been involved in various initiatives to support defence and veteran families. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Hayley. Her talk will be The Invisible Children, Recognising and Supporting Australia's Military Families. Hayley.
Thank you so much. Oh, I'm not used to having a microphone because I'm a lawyer and I can project very, very well. So if I'm yelling, please just tell me to tone it down. So thank you so much for the invitation today, and thank you, Alfredo, for bringing me. I'm so excited to be here and speak about these amazing military children. As you said, I'm a military spouse. My partner served for 24 years in the Royal Australian Navy and recently discharged, I think it's 2 years ago now, and we have 2 beautiful little girls. So without further ado, I will start my presentation, and I've got some little gifts for you later because we can't attend somewhere without giving presents. So that's what we do here. Let's see if this works. Did that work? There we go. Okay. So before I begin, I'd just like to acknowledge everyone here who has served, is currently serving or has supported someone through military service. Whether you wore the uniform or stood beside somebody who did, thank you. Your service and your sacrifices made by those who stand beside you should never go unnoticed. It is a privilege to share this space with you today, and I sincerely thank you for the invitation to speak about a topic that is deeply personal to me, the experiences of military children and families. So before I start, I just would like to know who has either served, currently serving, ex-serving, has a family member who has served in the ADF. Can you just put your hand up? See, this is my family right here. So 1 in 20 families in Australia are connected to military, which is a huge number. This is me. So who am I? So my dad actually served in the army when I was little, so I had a bit of toing and froing movement. I'm a veteran spouse. As I said, my partner served in the Royal Australian Navy. I'm also a solicitor. I'm not currently practicing because obviously I'm a little bit busy with the charity, but I did specialise in human rights, which I loved, amazing area. I'm a veteran and families advocate. Obviously the founder and CEO of Defence Kidz. I sit on the advisory council, so I tell the minister what to do in relation to families, which is the best position I've ever had, I think. I'm also, I've just been appointed to the inaugural Defence and Veterans Services Commission position, so that's really exciting, and also the mum of 2 kids. So the advisor role is actually holding the government to account in relation to the Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicides. So that's a really important role and one that I'm taking very seriously. Defence Kidz story. This is my little girl when she was a baby. How cute is her little face? Dressed up in little poppy dress. So where did Defence Kidz start? So when I think Evie was probably, she would have only been a few months old, and I was feeding her in the middle of the night, and my partner was about to be posted to Sydney, and I had a bit of a freak out because I'd always had him there and all of a sudden he wasn't going to be, and I had a little baby. And so I thought, okay, what do we do here? How do I make sure that my child maintains connection with her father even though they're separated? What does that look like for my family? And I looked around and, to be honest, I couldn't find anything that was relevant. So there was no books for children, there was no resources. I reached out to people. No one could really guide me into a way that sort of was going to offer me support. So what did I do? I created this little story. So this story here is called My Dad's in the Australian Navy, and if you like, on the way out, you can have a look at the books that we've created, but that one is specifically for her, and that one is about what her dad does, so that when they are separated, she can read a book and understand that, okay, he might miss her birthday, which is going to be devastating, but it's about service and the bigger impact and why we're doing this. So that book has been quite popular. From that, my partner put it on Facebook, on a private Facebook page, and said, how cool is my partner? She's written a book on maternity leave. I was always an overachiever. And from that, we had 200 messages saying, where do we get this book? That was the start of something. And I thought, oh, okay, this is a thing. Maybe, we should be supporting more families here. And from that, it grew and grew and grew. And then we got to a point where we thought, okay, we're just going to start a charity. So I'll break that down into some further slides because there's quite a lot about that. So where are we today? We are supporting military children and families all across Australia. So I'm obviously based in South Australia. We have a board, we have ambassadors, and they are all over Australia. We have an ambassador today. He is Cami. Cami, put your hand up. Volunteers her time to help military children, which is great. So what do? We create practical resources, we advocate for systematic change, and we ensure military children are seen, heard and supported. Look at this little girl. Goodness me. Okay, so life as a military child. So a lot of people are misguided as to what's actually happening with military children, and they think that they're all good. They're all living their best life. Not really the case sometimes. So they definitely are falling through the cracks. So as I said earlier, 1 in 20 Australian households have a current or former serving ADF member. Quite a few. In Australia, we have 238,000 children living with a veteran parent currently. Huge numbers. 21% of veteran children, this is where it gets sad, 21% of veteran children live with a long-term health condition compared with 17% of children with non-veteran parents. 1 in 6 young people, 15 to 24 years, whose parents left the ADF due to medical discharge will have a long-term mental health condition. 1 in 6 young people. That is ridiculous. How are we not supporting these kids better when there's 1 in 6 young people? So military children may experience. This is really, look, not all kids experience this, but a lot of them do. Obviously, separation anxiety. You remove a child from the parent, it's going to be sad. That's just how it is. Disrupted family relationships, frequent relocations and changing schools, separation during deployments and training, living with impacts of service-related injury or illness, including vicarious trauma, rebuilding friendships and support networks. Vicarious trauma is an interesting one that's coming out at the moment. So we have a lot of veterans who have been diagnosed with PTSD due to service-related experiences, and what they're seeing now is it's actually being shown and exhibited in their children, which is terrifying, I think. So why does recognition matter more now than ever? So better outcomes for children. So early identification leads to earlier support. Simple as that. These kids need help, so we just need to do better. Improves wellbeing, education and mental health. Helps children build resilience during service life. So also stronger families. That's exactly why we're here, and that's what we want. Families who feel supported are better able to support those who serve. Makes sense. Recognition reduces isolation and strengthens community connection. And this is the other one that I've been harping on to Defence about since forever, is support Defence recruitment, retention and transition. If you support a family, they are more than likely not going to discharge, because one of the main reasons they are discharging, believe it or not, is because they want to spend more time with their family and their family are struggling. So we better support the family, we better support capability. Driving lasting change. Recognition leads to better policies, services and research. Military children become visible in the system that supports them, and ensuring their sacrifices are acknowledged, not overlooked. These kids sacrifice every day. Quite often their parents are away, protecting Australia, and really they should deserve some recognition for that. So what do? We advocate. So we champion the voices of military children and families. We drive policy and systematic change at a state and national level. We ensure families are represented where decisions are made. We support them. So we do that by delivering practical resources and wellbeing initiatives. I'll go into what that looks like a little bit later. We provide deployment support packs and educational resources, and I'll show you what one of those looks like as well. We connect families with support that they need most and connection. We've built a national community for military families. We partner with corporate, schools, veteran organisations, defence, government and industry, and we create opportunities for children and families to belong. Oh, this is the cool stuff. Okay, advocacy. Obviously, being a lawyer, this is where my passion really comes out because I love seeing positive change. So what has happened lately? Pretty cool stuff. We've been in the media. So the first one is this Monday we launched the Australia's first, Go South Australia, Veterans Court. So that's pretty cool. What that means is a veteran comes into the criminal justice system. Instead of just locking them up as you would, if they've done the wrong thing, that's fine. It's about supporting them. So it's about making sure they get the treatment they need. If they've got PTSD, how do we support that? Are they accessing open arms? Like, are their children supported? So that's a really, really exciting one. I sit in the court with the magistrates and I advise for the families, and we've also got another person in the court who advises for veterans. So that's really cool. Another Australian first, because this is how we are in South Australia, we have Veteran Families Day. So we are coming into our third Veteran Families Day. We're also advocating for that in other states, and it looks like I think WA are going to pick it up, and maybe ACT I think as well. But that will happen. They'll eventually go on board. We'll just keep putting pressure on. And military child identification initiatives in schools. So basically, South Australia now, if you enrol your child in school, you can identify if you're a current serving, ex-serving, reservist family. Again, you can't support them if you don't see them. So this was really important data for us to start collecting. We've also encouraged ACT and NT. They've now jumped on board, so we've just got to get the other states. Queensland, I think they're going to probably be next. Influencing policy and systems at local and national level. So this is obviously some of the launches that we've done with Minister Boyer when he was education. These are my two little girls advocating for their little signs. Got to love them. And Joe Sockarch, who was instrumental in helping us with the Families Day and getting that over the line. We also did that with Veterans Advisory Council. Support. Oh, these little faces. Okay, so what does our support look like? So far, it actually says 21,000, but we've actually distributed over 27,000 books now to military families over Australia. Big sky thinking is we actually want to create a cartoon animation so that no matter where the child is, they can access this resource and feel connected to their family and their culture. We have a producer, so that's just funding, as it always is. We'll get there eventually. We have practical wellbeing resources supporting children through service life. We have a social media reach up to 26 million for some of our posts. We can be a little bit popular sometimes. Multiple community connection events. So we do like a zoo day for the kids where they get to play with other military kids, which is really lovely, and it shows that, quite often defence life can be quite isolating, and for the people in the room who have lived it, it can be quite isolating. So our connection events are quite important for kids to be able to hang out with other kids that get their experience. We have an ambassador program, as I spoke to you about. Cami is one of our ambassadors, and I'll show you some of our other cool ambassadors in a minute. We have a Defence Kidz hub. So the Defence Kidz hub is an amazing free resource for families and schools. It is online. You can download colouring sheets, there's activities, there's all sorts of stuff that really schools can use to be able to support military children better. This is one of our events. So as you can see, we have these cool Defence Kidz, veteran kids, and a big part of what we do is actually making sure that we're using their voice. We don't want to be speaking for them all the time because I think it's really important to empower military children. So as you can see, they've got microphones And wherever we can and wherever they feel comfortable enough, we'll always encourage them to use their voice. This was really good. So she was asking, the little one at the top, Matilda, was asking some questions to current service about what it's like being a service member. So that was really cool. And this is St Mary's School with my little girls as well. I'm going to go backwards. Oh, there we go. Okay, deployment packs. So I'm going to get Cami to come up for a second. She's going to help me show you what a deployment pack is. But here is some of the beautiful items in there. Everything that we do with our deployment packs has a purpose. So, for example, actually I'm going to grab it first and then we'll get Cami up and then we can do it together. Are you ready, Cami? Cami wasn't told that I was going to do this, but say thank you, Cami. Cami. No pressure. Take your time. Thank you, darling. So these little bags, aren't they the sweetest? So we have volunteers who make these bags for us. These ones were through Aussie Hero Quilts, and as you can see, they've got like little submarine themes. So do you want to pick one out? It's like a lucky dip. Do you want to pick one out? Here we go. Oh, okay. So we were donated these beautiful bears, flat-out bears. Everyone knows a flat-out bear. So the people who created those donated these for military children, for babies, so that they can sleep easier at night. How sweet when they're missing their parents. All right, do you want to go next? This is going to be fun. There we go. So we have another volunteer who creates pencil cases for us. So again, it's about military identity, making sure that they're, part of their culture. We had these beautiful T-shirts made up. Again, this is about identity. So this is Bianca. Not that I'm biased, but Navy are the best. So as you can see, we've got to say it. There's always an opportunity. Squishies. So we have squishies. I might stand on this side if that's okay. So we have these beautiful little squishies. Now, if you've got young grandchildren around you or little kids, you'll know what a squishy is, right? They're popping every 5 minutes. We've gone about through 20 this week, but basically these ones are really stretchy. So they're really comforting, and I don't know, there's something about these squishies that just make everything feel okay. So we've got one of those in every pack for the sensory children. So much. Oh, this might make me cry. I warned some of the people that there may be some crying. Let's just see if we get through it. Okay, so they've got a little book, again, texture, because I'm a big sensory texture person, and they can write in their journal about how they're feeling so that they're getting the words out, because I think that's really important, especially when you're missing a parent, getting the words out on paper. In addition, we have these sweetest little certificates for the kids, so it acknowledges their service, which I think is really cool. Now, are you ready for the letter that I write them? Here we go. I may cry. Dear Defence Kid, thank you so much for being part of our Defence Kidz community. We are proud to have you with us. You may not wear a uniform, but, it's going to make a few tears, but make no mistake, you serve too. You show courage, strength and kindness every single day. Whether you're saying goodbye to a family member, going on deployment, making new friends after a move, or just helping out at home, you are showing the world what it means to be brave. Here are a few things we hope you remember as you grow. Being strong doesn't mean not feeling sad. It means being kind to yourself and others, even on the hard days. Asking for help is brave, whether it's from a family member, teacher, or a friend. You are never alone. There are thousands of other Defence Kids just like you who understand. Your story matters. Your experiences, your voice, and your heart are important. Don't ever forget that. We want to say a big thank you for our service, your strength, and your smile. The Defence Kidz community wouldn't be the same without you. With so much pride and appreciation, Defence Kidz. Woof, that was lucky. That was nearly a few tears. So they get that in every single pack. And I can tell you that the feedback from parents, bawling eyes out, because they finally feel seen in our community. Right, that's a good one. Okay, we've got through that. So this is one of the books that I put in there, which is The Invisible String. So if you haven't seen that, it's really, really good book. Basically what it does is it talks about separation, having an invisible string connecting you and your family members together. Grandparents, get this for your kids because it's just beautiful. It really is lovely. So I'll leave that out if anyone wants to have a look, because it's a firm favourite in our family. Oh, we have these little worms. So we also have some volunteers who make these lovely little worms, and this one says, you can tell me anything that's on your mind, big or small, and I'll hold on to it for you. Sometimes it's just saying it out loud helps, and if you need more support, please reach out to someone you trust. And it's got some little phone numbers for like kids helpline and things. So we have these, and we've also got, is there a little star? Yep. So there's a little star. So these volunteers, they sent us about 300 of these. They're so kind. So this one says, keep me close as a small reminder that even on difficult days, there's still a bit of light around. When things feel dark, take me out and I'll remind you that I'm here to shine and support you. So is that the last one? Oh, see, there's so much cool. See, these kids, right, when they get these, they love this. Is it good? Oh, and then they've also got some little things to, like, keep them busy, keep their mind active, some sensory items as well. There's another little worm. I think we're done. Is there just worms left? Oh, and there's an Australian flag because about culture. Yep. And also some pencils and things. Thank you, Cami. So what we also put in there as well, thank you, darling. You can go sit down. Thank you. What we also put in is we've been fortunate enough to be given, everyone loves Byron Bay cookies, the Anzac Day ones. They sent us 500 of them, so we put those in the deployment packs as well. So there's lots of things in there. The impact. These are literally some of our little kids who have received some of our packs. This koala is over here. I'm gonna pass it to you, because you have to experience how beautiful and weighted he is. You can pass him around. He makes everything happy. So we have these weighted animals because what they're doing is they actually help kids sleep at night. So, okay, so this might make me cry. We'll see. So this is one of the letters from our families. It's obviously the weighted koala there. So, dear Defence Kidz, I just wanted to say thank you. Since my partner deployed, bedtime has become the hardest part of the day. Our children were anxious, waking up multiple times during the night, asking when mum was coming home. Because quite often it's a mum who also deploys. People don't think that. They think it's always a dad, but quite often it's a mummy who's away as well. We felt helpless. The deployment pack changed that in ways that we can't fully explain. The weighted comfort toy has become part of the bedtime routine, and for the first time since the deployment, they slept through the night. They cuddle every evening because, in their words, it feels like mummy's cuddle. The books, activities and thoughtful gifts gave us a way to talk about our feelings and reminded our children that they aren't the only military kids going through this. More than anything, they no longer feel alone. Thank you for reminding our family that someone sees us and understands and cares. Forever grateful. So these, from a bit of a mood change from that very sad moment. So these are some of our supporters. We haven't announced this yet, so you're in the room of silence, but we've just been told that Chief of Defence Force is now going to be our patron. So, and he's a good South Australian boy and we all love him. So Mark Hammond, Rear Admiral Mark Hammond. We also have Deputy Chief of Navy Darren Grogan, Deputy Chief of Army Chris Smith, and Mark Breda evidently is also one of our ambassadors and patrons, so that's really cool. So these are my kids as well. So this is actually, for those who haven't really experienced deployments, this is actually quite normal for us in our families. We have evening talks and we read stories on the iPad, and that's our daddy time with my two little girls, Alice and Evie. So Defence Kidz is a volunteer-led charity. We have no paid employees. I do this because I love it and I believe in the mission and I want to see it better for our military kids because I think they just deserve better. How can you make a difference? Well, you can share our story. That's always positive for us. The more people who know about our resources, the more we can help, to be honest. Introducing us to businesses or potential supporters, donating items for our deployment packs is always helpful, sponsoring a family connection event. Each deployment pack is actually only $50 each, so we have some people who say, oh look, we'll just sponsor 10 deployment packs for those military kids. Becoming an annual sponsor, helping us expand our reach and support even more military children and families across Australia. We have DGR, obviously, it's tax deductible. And we can make sure that all kids are seen and supported. So at the moment, our deployment pack program, we have 500 kids waiting on that list, which is ridiculous. I can't believe these kids don't have this support. And I think that is it. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Hayley. That was very interesting. There may be questions. I think we've got 5 minutes. Would that be okay? Yep. There we go. Well, maybe I can ask a question. There we go.
Yep.
Go for.
Thank you. Thanks, Hayley. Very interesting. The old DCO, now Defence Military Family Support Organisation, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
There was obviously a gap for you to see that. So what do they do in families? Is this complementing that?
Yeah. So what they do, so DMFS's role is obviously to support the families. They have very little funding in defence, like tiny, and they've just had a cut actually. So what they do is they do have some random bears that they send out. That's it, that's the extent of it. And I think there's like a journal, I think, as well. But they're so underfunded, they're so stretched. So we basically, I think we're complementing what they're doing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, they're good. They just don't have the funding. Yeah, and that's why we're filling the gap. You know, I work closely with DMFS. They do have some events, but you know, we're all just trying to do the best for our military kids together. Yeah.
Questions, surely. Well, okay, I've got one. Do you believe that the loss that the military has due to issues of separation of the family and so forth is consistent with the amount of funding that the military might receive to offset that?
Look, how do I even answer that? We need more funding. Look, we need more funding. Do you mean at a higher level, as in defence, or do you mean at a lower level? Any level? I mean, look, we're definitely. I think state government is stepping up, to be quite honest. In the defence industry, in the AUKUS program that's going to happen, there's definitely they're leaning into their partnerships very well. I think in South Australia, that's the strength that we have. But yeah, look, it's tricky. Look, I don't know the high level budgets. All I do know is that machines are very expensive. But we need to be investing in families better so that we have capability, and our best capability is the people. Machines aren't going to do anything if we don't have the people to look after them. Yeah. Was that the answer? Did I answer the question? Okay, good.
I think that's an excellent answer. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Well, I have a question from the employees.
Yep.
What my role as part of deployment, I think everybody can hear me. If I'm being deployed, how do I know where I can get the assistance that you and your group are providing? Is that given to me? Does the Defence Force actually say, well, you're being deployed, you've got a family, here is where you might actually get some assistance, which would then lead to perhaps more money being required, but that's a different issue. I'm concerned about, I'm being deployed, I don't know where I can get help.
It's really tricky. That's a loaded question, because you have families who might not want to be contacted by Defence or be provider support. But you also do have families who want the support. But I will say that 10 years ago compared to now, it's a completely different story. So now Defence go in and brief them on things like, you can go see Hayley. Hayley's going to help you with deployment packs. So we're working closer with Defence now to be able to make sure that families are getting